All right, now let's see what tools you need to build a new ASP.NET Core project. First of all, you need .NET Core. So if you have not installed it yet, head over to microsoft.com/net/core and download the installer for your operating system. Now in Terminal, you should be running the latest version of Node and NPM. So on my machine, you see I have Node version 6.9.1 and NPM version 3.10.8. All right, now we need to install a few Node modules. So npm install globally Webpack, which is for building the client-side code. So all the modules we write with TypeScript, it figures out their dependency, it transpiles them to JavaScript, combines and minifies them into one or more JavaScript files, depending on how we configure it. We're going to use Yo or Yeoman, which is a powerful scaffolding tool. So we can use it to create a new ASP.NET Core project. Now, Yo on its own is just an engine. On top of that, we need to install one or more generators. So there are lots of generators out there. The one I'm going to use is called generator-ASP NET Core-SPA. So this will create a project that uses ASP.NET Core on the backend and Angular 2 on the client. Now, if you want to use a different framework on the backend, like an earlier version of ASP.NET, you can find a generator for it. Simply Google it. All right, now let's install these Node modules. Okay, now let's create a new directory. Let's call this Apple. And then in this directory, I'm going to run yo ASP.NET Core-SPA. So that's the name of our generator. Here we need to answer a few questions. First is the framework we want to use on the client. So the options are Angular 2, Aurelia, Knockout, React, and React with Redux. I'm going to use Angular 2. Next is asking what type of project we want to create. So the first option is with project.json, which is compatible with .NET Core Preview 2 and Visual Studio 2015. The other option is with csproj, which is compatible with .NET Core Preview 3 and Visual Studio 2017. I'm going to use the first option here. And finally, it's asking if you want to include unit tests. For now, no. Let's give our project a name, which is Apple by default. All right, beautiful. Now, we're going to use .NET command line interface to restore the dependencies of this project. Okay, and finally, .NET run to run it. And now if you head over to localhost port 5000, here's our application. So we have a home page here, we have a menu. Let's look at the counter page. So this is an example of an Angular 2 component. Here we have a counter, we can increment it. All this code is executing on the client. Now we have another page, fetch data. This page calls an API on the server to get the data and then uses an Angular template to render this view. So in this simple application, we have routing, which is implemented on the client, and we also have view rendering. Our server-side part is purely responsible for getting and saving data. Next, we're going to look at the project structure in more detail.